By taking concrete action to review the life cycle of its vehicles, from the supply of resources to their reuse, the BMW Group has set itself the ambitious challenge of producing more environmentally friendly cars than ever before. In this video, we'll discuss in detail every plan of the BMW Group to make the world's greenest cars. Excited already? Who wouldn't? So make sure you stick with me till the end. Now, without any further delay, let's get into the video. BMW has made a lot of progress in e-mobility, sustainability, and new ideas. In 2022, the car industry is at a crossroads. With the impacts of climate change being felt more and more every day, both new cars themselves as well as the processes by which they're made both desperately need to become more efficient and better for the environment. Yet, this need for cars to be more eco-friendly is also an amazing challenge, an opportunity. It's forcing the best and brightest car makers to be more innovative and dynamic, and is helping create some of the most exciting cars we've seen in decades, and BMW is at the forefront of this eco-friendly wave. BMW was one of the first major car manufacturers to get on board with electric vehicles, and remains a leader in the EV space to this day. For instance, the BMW i3 remains one of the best-selling EVs of all time, and the BMW i8 helped change the popular conception of what an electric car could be. Now, in 2022, the BMW Group has one of the largest electrified model ranges in the entire car industry, from the feisty mini electric hatch to the luxurious BMW iX. There are even more exciting EVs on the way from the group, like the BMW XM, the first ground-up M-car since the iconic M1 in 1978, and Rolls-Royce Spectre, Rolls-Royce's first-ever electric car, that are both currently in development. BMW Group is personally looking forward to the arrival of the BMW i7, the first-ever all-electric 7 Series, which is set to be one of the most luxurious electric cars to date. In addition to being fuel-efficient and high-tech, BMW's electric cars are also very sporty and fun to drive. They show that if you choose an electric car, you don't have to give up anything. On the contrary, they are still the ultimate driving machines. But it's not enough to just make electric cars. Electric cars might pollute less than cars with traditional internal combustion engines, but making them has its own effects and problems. Car companies can't just make EVs and say that's enough to save the world. So BMW's goal is to make the greenest electric car. This goal isn't just about the cars themselves, but also about the whole process of making them. So what do you think of battery cells charged totally with green energy? The global car fleet is changing, and the trend is towards electrification. For example, Mini will be a 100% electric brand from 2030. However, the manufacture of battery cells, which is particularly energy intensive, still raises some questions. It is thus calculated that in 2030, with the growth in the number of electric cars on the roads, CO2 emissions due to the manufacture of cells would increase by 30% and would represent 40% of all emissions from the global production process. This is a curve that BMW Group absolutely wants to reverse. It's not only a question of containing this increase, but of significantly reducing emissions. Oliver Zipse, chairman of the management board of the BMW Group, has already agreed with their suppliers that for the production of their latest generation battery cells, they will only use green energy. By 2030, this will save a total of 10 million tons of CO2, a reduction that's equivalent to nearly half of the annual emissions of a city like Paris in 2018. However, the BMW Group's responsible sourcing efforts are not limited to battery cells. Determined to reduce the emissions of all its suppliers by 20% by 2030, the manufacturer has thus entered into a partnership with EGA, Emirates Global Aluminum, enabling it to source aluminum produced from solar energy in the desert of Dubai. What do you think is the idea behind this move? Well, it will result in no longer having to use carbon electricity to produce this essential material for the production of vehicles, but also for that of the aluminum foil that you use every day in your kitchen, and whose production is more polluting than that of aluminum used for the BMW iX, an initiative that will save around 2.5 million tons of CO2 by 2030. Let's talk about the plan for a 100% carbon-neutral production. What does BMW Group wish to achieve exactly? Progressing on all fronts beyond the supply chain, the manufacturer wants to be the reference in terms of responsible production. Oliver Zipse also said that the CO2 targets for their own products are the most ambitious of all. By 2030, they want to reduce their CO2 emissions by 80%, an ambitious horizon which will allow them to go even farther than the objective set by the Paris Climate Agreement, which aims to limit the increase in global temperature to 1.5 degrees Celsius. obvious. This is an evolution that has already been implemented at the 31 BMW Group production sites in 15 countries and supplied since 2020 exclusively with renewable energy. The goal for 2021? Achieve total carbon neutrality. Let's talk about how BMW Group is increasingly responsible for resource management. Reducing CO2 emissions is not everything. The conservation of resources is also essential. The BMW Group already produces fifth-generation electric motors devoid of rare earths, such as lithium or cobalt. But that's not all. The chemistry of battery cells has also evolved with this new generation, the proportion of cobalt in cathode materials dropping from 33 to 10%, while the nickel content increased by around 80%, a figure that should even soon reach 90%. The goal, according to Oliver Zipse, the goal is to increase the energy density of cells and at the same time reduce the cost of using materials and production. They also plan to significantly reduce the use of primary materials to ensure a truly green battery. In order to minimize the consumption of primary resources, up to 50% recycled nickel is already used in the high-voltage battery pack of the new BMW iX. These initiatives are in line with the two IPCEIs, important projects of common European interest, of the European Battery Alliance, aimed at establishing European production of battery cells that meet the highest requirements in terms of innovative technologies, sustainability, and footprint, carbon in production. A device that BMW Group, which is working on a new generation of solid-state batteries, or ASSB for all solid-state battery, using lithium metal to change the game in terms of safety and energy density, is today the only equipment supplier to support. And the other raw materials that make up a car, can you guess their plans for those? To reduce the use of new elements, the manufacturer is betting on a recovery. Oliver Zipse has explained that they've set themselves the objective of radically increasing the share of recycled materials such as steel, plastic, or aluminum in their products. So many second lives will soon change ours, in short. The fifth-generation eDrive system uses recycled aluminum. Next up, how is BMW Group closing the circular economy loop? Combining renewable energies and recycled materials at the time of supply and production is good. Going even further is better. In Leipzig, Germany, the BMW Group has created a farm in which batteries extracted from end-of-life vehicles serve as energy storage units even before being recycled, a responsible policy of reuse and recovery that the manufacturer has also been pursuing in other areas, beyond the raw materials mentioned above, for several years. The seats of the BMW i3 are thus partly made from recycled water bottles. In the BMW iX, the floor mats are made from recycled fishing nets, and the electric eDrive system contains 50% recycled aluminum. So many strategic innovations, coupled with support for its suppliers, allow the BMW Group to make the circular economy run more smoothly. And if many products still have to be made, progress is definitely underway. Every step of making a BMW shows that the company cares about being green and coming up with new ideas. Again, just making electric cars isn't enough. It's how you make them that makes all the difference. This is where BMW really stands out. All of BMW Group's cars, from crossover SUVs for the city like the Mini Countryman Hybrid, to sleek sports sedans like the BMW i4, are made in innovative, environmentally friendly ways. They're also some of the best cars in their class when it comes to luxury, practicality, and performance, whether they're electric or not. The future doesn't have to be boring to be better. Not at all. So that concludes today's video. If you found the video helpful, give us a thumbs up. And don't forget to share the video with your friends and family. Also, do let me know in the comments section what you feel about this move of the BMW Group to make the world's greenest cars. Thanks for watching and see you next time.